Hello and welcome to the Multiplayer Podcast. This is Bonus Round. We're a video game podcast where we review a game each week, and then we have these little episodes where we like to talk about our days, our lives, our weeks, and cover different topics. This week we are covering questions submitted to us from Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So, you guys had questions, and we're here to answer them. And today we have Paul.
What's up, guys?
You almost said, what's crack-a-lackin'?
I was going to tease it. I was going to go, what's
It's forbidden.
up, guys?
No, it's forbidden.
Oh, all right. And Josh.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
All right, guys. We
I thought
took
about
to
stealing
Twitter,
Paul's crack-lackin' thing, but
Instagram, and Facebook to ask you, our listeners, what questions you had for us. So the first question on here is from the real Hudson. So no fake Hudsons
no
over
fake
here.
Hudsons around here. This is
What
the
made
real
you-
Hudson.
Yeah, the real Hudson. What made you guys want to start a podcast? Well, Hudson, like every young boy, when they grow up, they want to be a famous podcaster.
It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. What made you guys want to become a podcaster?
I just remember what I think led to the podcast was anytime we would get on to play games together, we were usually either always waiting for somebody else to come along, or we would just wind up chit-chatting together for 15, 20 minutes before we were like, oh yeah, hey, we should probably actually go ahead and play, and then hopping into the game. And those conversations sometimes would be either pretty funny, like really cool, like somebody would be talking about a new game that they were playing or be joking around or something like that. And I just remember at some point somebody was like, man, we should record these conversations at some point, because they're pretty funny. And I think that was like the precursor to us having a podcast talking about games.
Yeah, I think we floated the idea around for a while, but then we were like, how do we talk about video games since it's like a very visual thing? And then after like talking about it for a bit, we were like, oh, we could do like lighthearted reviews. And then, it kind of stuck. We did some practice episodes and showed them to our friends and family, and everyone seemed to enjoy them. So then we started recording.
Yeah, it was definitely a while in the making, and we used to joke a lot about podcasting. So like in our Discord channel, me and my friend Brandon would start talking about The Bachelor, and we would joke about, hey, let's go make a Bachelor podcast. Or, we would talk about games and joke about making a gaming podcast. And, we do have a couple of friends who run their own podcast about fantasy football, and they've had a lot of success, and we kind of saw how they did it. And we just thought, why not us? Let's just give it a whirl, see how it goes.
And you can find Paul's Bachelorette podcast at the Paul's Bachelorette podcast.com.
I got a couple pods cooking, guys. There's a couple of buns in the oven. We got The Bachelor. We got Vanderpump Rules. I'm starting a Cougar Town podcast.
Let me in on that Cougar Town one.
Mm-hmm.
Seems great.
It's coming.
Does
All
this
right,
mean I
guys.
have to watch any of those shows?
No.
Okay, good.
Absolutely
no, Paul,
not.
Okay,
it's
good.
it's just Paul describing the episode to us.
And then us making fun of him?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
Guys, I am so in on this. And I'm not even joking.
All right, next question from Woostinger. I think that's right. Not sure if you guys answer this, but maybe you have. But how did you guys meet, and what made you start getting closer to each other? Well, I am brother-in-laws with Paul.
Yep. Brother-in-laws for life.
Yep, for life.
For better or worse.
There's no greater bond than brother-in-laws.
I think it's brothers-in-law for the plural. But
I was going to say,
we'll let it slide.
that sounded really funny, and I think Paul is right on that one.
No, we're brother-in-laws, and
You do say my in-laws when you refer to somebody else, right?
Welcome to Paul's Grammar Podcast. Speaking of which, I got beef with Josh over Oxford commas. But
we're not getting
slide.
in the Oxford comma.
Oh, jeez.
No, but Todd and I, our wives are sisters, and I also have worked as a coworker with Todd's wife, so we know each other that way. And I know Josh because Josh is the brother-in-law of the best man at my wedding. So in a weird way, we got this little connection here between the three of us.
Can we get him on the podcast and then just call the podcast brothers-in-laws?
Brothers-in-laws, double plurals.
I don't see how that couldn't work.
I think we're onto something. But what's funny is both of you guys moved here to Arizona from out of state. Josh came over here to live near family, and Todd moved out here and
For work.
Yeah. And got married. So
I heard there was gold these ways. So I just came on west.
There's gold in these hills.
Yeah, it's and then I think what kind of brought us together, or with us getting closer, was honestly, it was Overwatch. I think that's where Todd and I first played games together. And then Paul, that was when we were looking for like a group of 6 to play consistently. Mm-hmm. And then so you had invited Todd, and then Todd and I hit it off right away. We kind of just became game buddies after that because our game schedules kind of meet up a lot. And then PUBG was the other one. So I think those 2 games are what really solidified our like multiplayer gaming group. And then obviously we've had people kind of come and go over the years as far as our group of close friends that we game with, but we've stayed pretty strong in that core there.
Yeah, yes. And I think it's kind of funny. One of the things to me is like a main reason why we've all stayed together are because we're dads, and it's not like we're going to go out because we have kids asleep at home. I mean, so like we've played together for a few years now, where it's like most nights during the week. And yeah, Josh, I think you're right with like Overwatch was the game that really got us all playing together, which, you know, I'm very fond of Overwatch. I love that game.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Silver. Right? Sylver.
Silver. Yep.
Silver? All right. From Silver, if you could play/experience any game for the first time again, which one would it be?
Ooh.
What a good question.
I know
That's
this
a hard one.
Hands down. But I'm going to let you guys go first.
Uh-oh. All right, I have a clarifying question.
Thinking. He's trying to find that answer.
Yeah, I'm
I have a
trying
clarifying
to figure this
question.
out.
Oh, what's the clarifying question?
So for me, I normally play multiplayer games. Am I entering that like ecosystem?
It's
like
any game, single player, multiplayer, what?
But like
game?
if I go back to Halo's very different right now than what it was
back then.
When Halo 3 came out.
It's back when you experienced it. That's the question, is if you could experience it again, right?
Okay.
Not just amnesia today and you get to play Halo forgetting that you played Halo forever ago. It would be going back in time and reliving it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
that's how I viewed the question. It's like it's your first time playing this game. You want to, you know what you know, and you can go back and experience it all over again, fresh, like from the first time. What game would it be?
This is easy for me too. I'm really curious to hear what Todd says.
I know. Let's put Todd on the spot here.
Are you guys for real?
Furiously thinking right now.
Halo 2.
All right.
Come on.
That's
an easy one.
That's very characteristic of Todd.
Get out of here.
It is a great game, though.
Halo 2 was amazing. Like, the competitive multiplayer, you had clans. Red versus Blue was being founded. Like, that was a great moment for middle school Todd.
Yeah.
And there's something special and fun with physically connecting your Xboxes and playing together.
Those were good times.
My friends and I went out to the store, bought video cards so we could record gameplay footage on our computers so we can edit into short, like, little movies.
Like highlight clips? Or like you guys were voice acting the different characters dying?
Voice acting. Like, it was terrible.
Oh,
it was like a 12-year-old version of like a skateboarding movie except with Halo. Like, just awful, but it was so much fun.
Oh, I'd give anything to have
I
those
was
tapes
gonna
right now.
say, I wish Todd could dig up some of these videos.
I would have no idea
Oh,
where to
sure.
even look.
I know Todd's mom. I'll give her a call.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll
You
find
also-
out. If
you
she-
Are
also
there any
know
old
Todd's
hard
wife,
drives
so-
laying around? All right, Paul, what's your answer?
Oh yeah, mine's an easy call, and I wonder if it'll be similar to Josh's, but mine is World of Warcraft. I think it came out in 2004, and for me it was the first MMO that I ever played, and I remember just watching the trailer for the first time and seeing how as a player you were in this world with so many other people and going up to a griffin and popping on it and flying to another location with these huge maps. And I remember playing and just joining a really great guild, meeting so many people who I never met in real life, but knew them really well online. You know, knew the sound of their voice immediately as soon as they would connect, and I knew who they were. Going through all of the old school raids together with progression and failing over and over and over again every week. And after months of work and practice, finally downing the next boss in Molten Core or, Blackwing Lair, whatever it may be. It was so much fun, and I have such nostalgia for that time. And even with the release of WoW Classic, it's just not the same. Everyone knows all the fights. Everyone has huge monitors to see and coordinate better. Back then we had terrible monitors, terrible internet connection. We'd have 40 people raids, and 4 of them would be AFK, 3 guys would disconnect, but it was so much fun. I would love to go back and experience that. And neither of you played WoW back in the day, right? When it first came out?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was such a running joke, and it still is to this day, with my wife and my good friend Jackie, because I was living with my roommate Eric, and I would get involved in these raids, and they would come over and say, hey, we want to go out and get appetizers at Applebee's. And I'd say, okay, great, just let me finish this raid. Well, anyone who raided back then knows that might have been like 4 more hours until that raid would finish. So still to this day, 16 years later, we still make that joke, the 3 of us. Oh, Paul's just going to hop in a quick raid and then we'll be ready. But that's my pick. Warcraft, absolutely.
You were right.
It's a good one.
Because we do
I know
have something
Josh's.
similar. Yep.
Yep.
Is the precursor to World of Warcraft, the first very successful MMO out there, which was EverQuest. So I'm a little bit older than you youngins. So back in the day, the first MMO, I mean, I know there was like Ultima Online, and there's going to be some people that listen and be like, well, actually Ultima Online. No, like the first very successful MMO was EverQuest.
EverQuest.
I remember a friend of mine, one of my best friends, a guy named Jeremy, bought it, and he was like, hey, you need to play this game. It's amazing. It's all online. Like it's a massive multiplayer game. And I didn't even know what that was. Like that was not a thing, back then. So I remember logging in and starting off in the little elven forest and running around and seeing people. And I remember my mind was blown that like these people were running up to me and stopping and then like typing, and you could interact with all these people, and the world was enormous. At one point, we wanted to go change zones so that we could go farm like lions, because you could sell lion skins to make money. And it took us 20
sounds
minutes.
illegal and
Yeah.
sounds like poaching, Josh.
Sorry, we do not endorse the
Carol-
selling of lion skins.
Carol
is gonna
Baskins
come
is not
for
happy.
you.
She's going to sick her posse on you.
Yeah, but
Better watch out, man.
So yeah, we had to run 20 minutes to go catch a boat that took us across the oceans. That like you had to ride this boat. It was terrible. Like there were parts of this game that were absolutely horrible, and I see why World of Warcraft like simplified a lot of things. But for me, that sense of awe was amazing. And I played the heck out of this game, man. So much so to my own detriment. My poor wife. I mean, I just remember playing this game like probably 8 hours a day for many, many months. It was actually, funny story, I was actually I played a ranger in that game. I was the top ranger in the top server of this game at one point. So I was the pinnacle of what your character could be from all of my rating. I was in like the top guild on all of the servers and all that. It was incredible. No lie.
It was all downhill from there.
No lie. No, I finally just was like, okay, I need to give this up. This is bad for me and I'm going to quit this game. And so this is a long time ago, mind you, but I put my character up on one of those like character auction sites way back when. And that character sold for $1,500.
Really?
No lie. Put him up. He was insta purchased like 3 hours after I put him online, for $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, it was that shows you how good my guy was. But that's the game that if I could experience it all over again, man, just hands down, there's nothing that's even close to that.
Did EverQuest cost money monthly?
Yeah.
Or was it just, it did?
Nope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same with
paid
WoW.
Monthly. I don't remember how much it was.
Mm-hmm.
WoW was expensive. Like
WoW was
EverQuest, I want to
$15
say
a month.
was like, I feel like EverQuest was like 5 maybe or 10 at most. But yeah.
Guys, I played Guild Wars and it was free.
Yeah.
Guild Wars was fun.
Guild
I
Wars
love
was a
Guild
great
Wars
game.
too.
I played that with my brother. That was one of the games that me and my brother really got into, that we played a lot together too, which was fun.
Did you guys know they made it completely free to play? So now you can just jump in without having to buy like a game subscription?
I did.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2. I don't think the original Guild Wars is even around anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Guild Wars
probably
2 is a
right.
great game. But yeah, man, I got nostalgia now. We have a close friend of ours that told me about an EverQuest server that's free to play that you can go back to. But this is one of those things where it's like the graphics were terrible, the interface was terrible. You had like 2 skills total that you could just sit there and click through. Like there would be no way that I would enjoy this game anymore.
Yeah, that's so interesting, stuff like that. And I felt a little bit going back to Halo, but just like going back to a game you have such a very fond memory of, and it just doesn't hold up.
No.
It's always sad. Because that's why they do reboots.
So 2 MMOs in Halo 2. Isn't it sad that MMOs have just fallen so far?
Yeah, they really have. I'll be curious to see how, what's the Amazon?
New World?
New World. I'll be curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I'm all
I
for
hope
the
it's
idea.
good.
of
I'm
an
looking
MMO.
forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too. I got into WildStar for a while. That was a lot of fun. Had a ton of fun with our friend Andy that you mentioned earlier, Paul.
Yep, you and I did a lot of WildStar.
Yeah, I loved that game, man. That was a good one. I played Elder Scrolls Online with my daughter, and I hated that game, man. It was just so dumbed down and simple, and like there was just no challenge at all.
What about Latro? Lord of the Rings
I forgot
Online?
about Latro.
Yeah.
Latro was great. That's right.
Latro was great. Playing
They're
the
still
burglar.
around. Didn't they just release an expansion like a
think
few
so.
months ago? Yeah, my little Hobbit burglar was baller, man.
Oh, you played burglar too?
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah. You gotta sneak around and backstab people, man.
You would start the group combos where everyone would have to click like how to use your
That's
ultimate.
right.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
That's funny.
That was fun.
All right, guys. We have 2 more questions.
All right.
Next one from Raf. I'd love to know how you all came to the idea of beginning a podcast and how you all met each other. I feel like we covered that, right?
We pretty much
Went
covered
through the
that.
other
I will,
questions?
you know what? Let's expand a little bit since we were talking about the starts. I will give Paul credit that in our Discord, Paul at one point said we should start a top 10 podcast.
Mhm.
Is I think was the very first inklings of, hey, let's do a podcast.
Right.
For the record,
And that is a wildly successful podcast that
Yes.
has millions of listeners currently.
well, it
Just
yes.
Google top 10 podcasts.
As of 2022, it is enormously successful. And I'm not letting go of that dream. That was actually my first choice. 1A for me was a top 10 podcast, gaming. 1B, and maybe we'll get around to it one of these days. We'll have to do a spinoff.
Do you know the problem is I can't think of 10 things in any given category that I like. Like if you'd said it's a top 3 podcast, I could name my top 3 like songs or movies or foods. But once you get to like 8, 9, I can't think of anything at that point.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a little bit of history there. When I used to work a very boring office job where I had a lot of free time, I started a blog at Blogspot, which was Google's free blog. And I did a whole blog on cereal reviews, and I broke down like 28 cereals and wrote about them all. And that was, you know, well more than 10 years ago, and I could so easily do a top 10 cereals podcast and just go off for an hour. It would be no problem.
Paul, for bonus friend points, what was the number one cereal?
Okay.
There's no
You're
question.
gonna laugh.
There's no question what the number one cereal out there is.
Yeah, it's
well,
easy.
Are you going to say Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No.
Because that's like the most common answer.
No.
My personal answer is maybe one you haven't even heard of. It's Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Oh, I know Cracklin' Oat Bran. Cracklin' Oat Bran is delicious.
Crack-a-lackin'
but it is not the number
This is
one.
why
It is not the number one cereal.
This is why What's Crack-a-lackin' is my trademark, guys. It's Cracklin' Oat Bran. It has cinnamon and it tastes like oatmeal cookies. You have to pour milk over it, let it sit a while, but it's really expensive. It's like $5
for a
like
small box. Yeah,
for a small box, yep.
Because it's oat bran.
The correct answer was
Todd.
Count Chocula.
Dang it, Todd. Both of you guys are disappointing, man.
You gotta watch out for that
What do
Count
you have?
Chocolitis,
I mean,
Todd.
Count Chocula is delicious too, but there's
yeah.
one clear leader in the cereal world, and that is Lucky Charms, guys.
Okay.
There is no cereal that's better than Lucky Charms.
Count Chocula is chocolate Lucky Charms. That's what you want.
No, because it has very
Lucky
minimal
Charms.
marshmallows, and then it's just chocolate.
Guys,
No,
my blog is still up.
Is
I
it
just
really?
found it.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Maybe we should
Get
tweet this
outta
out.
here.
Oh,
We
we'll
should
tweet it.
We should
We'll
tweet this.
tweet it. Okay, guys, listeners.
I posted this October 10th, 2007,
Oh my goodness.
and it's still up.
All right, we'll get
All
that
right,
out.
we'll tweet it out. We'll tweet it out.
props to Google for keeping it up after all these years.
That's really good.
I did 2 blogs. Oh no, guys, my cereal review is January 2005, and then in 2007 I did blog entry number 2 for candy bars. So, very successful blog. That's all I have to
blog
say.
every 2
research
years.
between the
That's
posts.
hilarious. So,
All right,
guys.
I got to give credit to Todd though, because Todd was the one that said, "Hey guys, he was the one that really pushed for let's do this gaming podcast. Like,
Yeah,
let's
he
do
did.
it. Let's do it. Come on, Josh. Come on, Paul. Like, let's do it." And we were like, I mean, if you're serious, Todd, like, okay. And then he was like, yeah. And then here we are.
Yeah.
Wildly famous.
Here we are.
Popular.
Good looking.
Yeah. Good looking.
Yeah. Got a face for radio.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what they say? All right. Last question on here from Vanilla Brandy Art. What's your biggest gaming pet peeve?
Ooh. I know mine, I think. Yeah.
Mine might be too obvious, but I'll just say it. Pay to win mechanics.
Yeah,
Like-
that can be frustrating.
Especially like, when I played FIFA for a while, and just going against teams where people just kept on buying packs so they could get better and better stars, and then it's like, all right, my team can't catch up because I'm not gonna put in another $100 into this game. But I don't, that might be too obvious of an answer. What do you guys have?
That's a good one.
I'm turning the clock back a little bit, and I'm going escort quests.
Oh, those are terrible. Yes. Whoever thought that was a good idea?
I don't know, man. Escort quests, like, that's the joke in World of Warcraft. Every quest was go kill 10 of these, or kill and loot 10 of these, and then come back, or it was an escort quest. And they always walk so much slower than your max speed, and escort quests have always been terrible.
The joke is they walk too fast for you to walk and too slow for you to run.
Yeah.
Which is so dang funny.
There was one instance in World of Warcraft where I think it was called like Caverns of Time or something, and Thrall would get on a horse and you'd have to run, but his horse was slower than everyone's normal horse. So now everyone would have to like press and let go of W every second just to keep pace with him. And yeah, escort quests like that have just never made sense to me.
That's a good one. That's something I hate in video games, and I didn't even realize I hated. So
yeah, I'm not sure we really ever see him anymore, but that's the very first thing I thought of.
For me, can I have 2? I'm gonna have 2.
Go for it.
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
Okay, you guys know I don't follow rules anyway, so
Motion granted.
Yeah. Number 1 is lag. Lag ruins gaming, man. Like if you're playing an online game and there's lag involved, it's just terrible. So that's one of my pet peeves. My other one is poor matchmaking. And maybe this is just because I have fresh wounds today, because I had a really bad day of Valorant today. I played probably 5 matches of Valorant, and I was like the bottom of the board, like on all 5 of those. It was just not a good day. And if you but we've run into this in Overwatch. I mean, Rocket, I mean, any game, you wind up with that one match where it is just completely lopsided and you just get stomped. And to me, because I'm so competitive, there's nothing more frustrating than I know there's people out there that are a lot better than me. I don't want to play those guys. It's not fun.
Right.
You know, like I'm sure it's great for them, but it's not great for me. So yeah, those 2 things I think are the 2 things that I get upset about more than anything else.
Yeah, I definitely think matchmaking is one of those huge ones that can just ruin a game. Like, if you don't have good matchmaking and you're just matching anyone up with anyone, like PUBG did for a while, like, it's just hard. Like, it's like you just, even with Warzone, like, we're being matched with people who are clearly way, way, way better than us.
Yeah.
And then it's just hard where you're like, well, like, I don't really know what to do in this situation. I don't really want to play because I'm just going to get destroyed.
I'm okay with a learning curve because that's just part of any game, is learning how to play it and learn the mechanics and the strategies. But I don't like it when you just get thrown up against. I mean, you're let's say a gold level player, and then you get thrown up against like diamond level players, and they just wipe the floor with you, and then you're just like, this is like, I just wasted 15 minutes.
Right, and that's why I respect like Rainbow Six Siege, because they have that whole newcomer lobby for that very reason.
Honestly.
Which, you know, better or worse, there might be someone who created a new account that just wipes the floor with everyone.
Yeah, but they'll level out of that too. I agree with you.
They will, like, that will always happen with every game. Some form of that. Like, that happened in Overwatch and everything too. Yeah. But I agree with you, Josh. Both of those were good.
Thanks.
All right, guys. That's the end of our episode. Thanks to everyone who submitted a question. You know, if you're listening to this, you should really be following us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of them. I think on Twitter we're multiplayer
at multiplayer pod.
Yep, and Instagram
multiplayer podcast.
Boom. So make sure you follow us. We do raffles every once in a while. We'll ask for questions for episodes, and we're semi funny on social media.
And you can come find out what best cereals to buy, which is what we're really all here for.
Even though we just gave away the top 3 right there.
Yeah. Well, there's still another 7.
That's
so
true.
we didn't spoil the whole list.
We are very active on socials. We love to interact. We respond to everybody. So definitely follow us and talk to us.
Yeah, but that's it for this week. See you guys later.
See you guys.